Stranger Things has been one of the biggest shows in the past decade. It's given us iconic characters, insane plot twists, emotional moments, and some of the best 80s nostalgia on TV. But today, I'm ranking every season from worst to best based on story, characters, pacing, emotional impact, and how well each season has aged. Keep in mind, this is my ranking, so feel free to drop yours in the comments. And if you disagree, that's the point. Stranger Things works for different people in different ways. Alright, let's start with the worst season. Season 2 lands last for me, not because it's bad, but because it's the most uneven season in the whole series. The biggest issue is the pacing. The middle of the season slows down hard, and the episode where Eleven leaves Hawkins to meet Kali stops the entire story dead. It pulls you away from the characters you care about, the tension disappears, and by the time it cuts back to Hawkins, it feels like you're watching a different show. I found that storyline to be extremely boring as well. That being said, Season 2 does have some really strong pieces. Will's possession storyline is one of the creepiest things in the entire show. The demo dogs are a fun addition. The snowball dance is one of the most iconic endings of any season. And introducing Max and Billy adds a new dynamic that becomes important later. One of the most emotional scenes this season was Bob's death. I didn't expect that moment to hit as hard as it did. I also feel like Bob's death was one of the goriest scenes in the entire show up until that point. But overall, when you look at all 5 seasons, Season 2 is the one that feels like the show was still trying to figure out what it wanted to be. Great moments, but the least consistent. Next up is Season 5, the big finale. And honestly, this season is one of the most divisive in the entire series. Some people love it and think it ended perfectly, and others feel like it didn't match the hype that Season 4 created. Let's start with the positives. Season 5 brings the story full circle. The Upside Down expands and shows us the abyss where Henry has been hiding. The wormhole plan is one of the craziest ideas the show has ever done, and the action is massive. The stakes going into the season felt higher than ever, and the emotional moments this season are strong. You can tell the show was trying to close out every major arc by the end of it, but the controversies are a big part of why this season lands at the number 4 spot for me. Controversy number 1 is the pacing. A lot of people felt the beginning dragged, and then the finale moved way too fast. Moments that should have had room to breathe felt rushed. Controversy number 2 is underused characters. Some fan favorite characters barely get screen time or closure. A few arcs feel unfinished, and there were expectations for certain characters to have bigger roles, but I think part of that is because there's just so many characters. Controversy number 3, emotional payoffs. After Season 4, fans expected darker consequences or bigger sacrifices. Some people felt Season 5 played it safer than promised. Controversy number 4, expectations. Season 4 set the bar incredibly high. Following that up was almost impossible. Even when Season 5 is good, it doesn't always hit those same highs. Season 5 is still a strong finale. I personally think it's a great season, as I don't think this show truly has a bad season. It wraps things up, delivers huge moments, and gives the series a sense of closure, but it's not quite at the level of the top 3. In third place, we've got Season 1, the season that started it all. This season is just pure magic, small town mystery, 80s nostalgia, supernatural horror, all blended perfectly. The atmosphere and vibe in Season 1 is unmatched. The Christmas lights, the missing kid mystery, the Demogorgon lurking in the shadows, it all feels so grounded and raw. I think not knowing what was going on truly added to the mystery and horror aspect of the show. This season, the show doesn't really rely on giant CGI monsters or massive action scenes. It's a character-driven mystery with sci-fi running underneath it, and the characters feel incredibly real. Hopper isn't a superhero yet, he's just a broken guy trying to find a missing kid. Joyce is terrified but determined. The kids are awkward, scared, and relatable. Season 1 is near flawless, but the later seasons expanded the world so much that Season 1 now feels smaller compared to them. Still amazing, just not as big or ambitious as the top 2. Next up, we've got Season 4, which lands in second place for me. And honestly, it's one of the most ambitious seasons Stranger Things has ever made. Season 4 feels like the show fully evolving. The stakes are higher, the world is bigger, and the tone is so much darker than anything before. This is the season where Stranger Things officially becomes a horror series, and the main reason for that is Vecna. Vecna is not just another monster. He's a true villain with a personality, a history, and a terrifying presence. We've had Demogorgons, the Mind Flayer, and all sorts of creatures from the Upside Down, but Vecna is different. He talks, he manipulates, he torments, and the way he attacks people psychologically, makes him the most disturbing threat in the Stranger Things series. And what makes season 4 so good is that it feels like every storyline connects back to him in some way. The Creel House mystery, Eleven's origin, all the Hawkins murders, the Upside Down lore finally being revealed. Everything ties together, giving the season a huge sense of purpose. The performances this season are some of the best in the entire series. Sadie Sink as Max gives one of the strongest performances of the whole show, especially in her scenes with Vecna. Her trauma, her guilt, her grief, you feel it in every moment. And that running up the hill scene became a cultural phenomenon for a reason. It's one of the most emotional, suspenseful scenes Stranger Things has ever put on screen. And then there's Eddie Munson, a character who shows up in one season and instantly becomes a fan favorite. His guitar solo in the Upside Down is still one of the most iconic moments of the entire series, and it's crazy how fast he became a beloved character. The big downside of season 4, and the only reason it isn't number 1, is the split storylines. The Russia arc and the California group slow down the pacing. Some episodes feel like you're switching between 3 different shows. It's not bad, but compared to the incredibly strong Hawkins storyline, it's noticeably weaker. But even with that, the highs of season 4 are almost unbeatable. The visuals are incredible, the emotional stakes are huge, and the horror elements are executed perfectly. Season 4 is massive, intense, heartbreaking, and unforgettable, and that's why it's easily in the top 2 for me. Now finally, we've reached my number 1 pick, Season 3. This is the season that fully embraces the 80s blockbuster vibe the show had always been hinting at. The colors, Starcourt Mall, the neon lighting, the music, all bring Season 3 to life. One of the main reasons Season 3 hits so hard for me is because it's the perfect balance of fun and emotional. The first half of the season is honestly hilarious. The Dustin and Steve dynamic is peak Stranger Things comedy, but at the same time, Season 3 has some of the most emotional moments in the whole show. Hopper and Eleven's relationship is the heart of this season. You really feel how much Hopper cares even when he messes up, and Eleven learning how to live like a normal kid adds so much depth. The I need you to be safe stuff hits even harder once you see how Season 4 and 5 play out. The central threat also works better than people give it credit for. Some fans think the Mind Flayer using a physical body made of melted people is over the top, but honestly, it fits the season's tone. Season 3 is big, loud, and messy in the best way, and the body horror is crazy. The rats exploding, the hospital fight, it all feels like Stranger Things fully committing to an identity. And of course, we have the Starcourt Mall finale, which might be the best finale the show has ever done. The way every character group finally comes together, the fireworks battle, Hopper's sacrifice, the music, the emotion, it's everything the show does well blended into one giant sequence. Some people clown on Season 3 because it's too bright or because the characters split up again, but honestly that's part of what makes it work. Each group has a clear purpose, and the season always feels like it's building towards something. Season 3 may not be perfect, but for me, it's the most rewatchable, the most memorable, and the season where Stranger Things feels the most confident in what it wants to be. Another thing I don't think Season 3 gets enough credit for is how well it handles the theme of growing up. This is the first season where the kids really aren't kids anymore, and the show actually explores that instead of ignoring it. You see friendships shifting, relationships forming, people drifting apart, and the tension that comes with everyone changing at different speeds. The Mike, Eleven, Hopper dynamic is a perfect example. It's funny on the surface, but the heart of it is Hopper struggling to let go and Eleven learning how to be independent for the first time in her life. Those emotional layers make the final letter scene hit way harder than people remember. Even the Billy storyline adds unexpected depth. Season 2 set him up as a one-note bully, but Season 3 gives him actual tragedy. His possession isn't just a horror plot, it ties into his childhood trauma, his anger, and why he became the way he is. The moment where Eleven reaches out to him in his memories is one of the most emotional scenes in the whole show, and it's easy to forget how much it changes the season's tone in the best way. And when you look at the whole season as a package, the visuals, the humor, the action, the horror, the music, and the emotional weight, Season 3 feels the most complete. It's the season I can rewatch anytime and never get bored. Every plotline is entertaining, every character has something to do, and the finale sticks the landing better than almost any other season. I know some fans prefer the darker tone of Season 4 or the mystery of Season 1, but Season 3 is the one that feels the most alive. It's colorful, chaotic, emotional, and just fun in a way the other seasons don't fully capture. That's why it sits at number 1 for me. So that's my official Stranger Things season ranking. Drop your ranking in the comments below. I really want to see how different everyone's list is. And if you want me to rank the main characters or the villains or something else, just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.